Really? Nice to meet you, Frank.
What
Nice to
time is
meet
it?
all of you.
What time is it over there, Frank?
11:02 p.m.
Wow, thanks for coming. Yeah.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. Thanks for the opportunity to join your meeting.
You're welcome. Thanks for joining us. So we're going to get started because we are live right now. And so thank you guys for tuning in. My name is Yolanda Johnson. I am the founder. And of course, I am the founder and CEO of Parents Educating Parents here in Newark, New Jersey. And, with the current culture of COVID, our schools, some are remote, some are in person for the most part. In New Jersey, been mandated to go all fully in person. And our parents are iffy about it. Some have kicked back, but silently kicked back, if that makes sense. But New York, we have New York on the phone. We have a teacher from Africa on the phone, and so I just won't waste no time. Let's just jump right into it. If you all, we can go around and just introduce ourselves really quick. That would be fine. And thanks again for joining us. So
I
I'll
guess
pass
I'll
it
go
to
first.
Tanisha. Yes.
I'll go first. I'm Tanisha Grant. I'm the CEO of Parents Supporting Parents New York and Moms United for Black Lives New York City. I am a community activist in Harlem, and I fight for Black liberation. I fight unapologetically for Black liberation in all areas, whether that be education, whether that be police brutality, whether that be housing, anything that you think that oppresses Black people, I fight against it in New York City, Harlem.
Awesome.
Thanks for having me.
Awesome. So just jump in, introduce yourself, tell us where you're calling from, give us a little bit about, your background and who invited you.
My name is Denise Cole. I'm an education activist, advocate, organizer in Newark, New Jersey. I work alongside of Yolanda Johnson and her Parents Educating Parents organization. I also am a part of different educational groups in Newark. My fight is within education, but I support other work that's being done in Newark when it comes to equality and justice for the Black community in Newark.
Awesome. Who's next?
Okay. Can I please also talk?
Yes, go ahead, Frank.
Yeah, I'm Frank from Accra, Ghana. I'm a teacher, and the virus take it toll on us. That's in Africa. We had our fair share of the virus, and schools were closed for roughly a year. We were at home for a year, and school resumed somewhere January, the 1st of January. School resumed, but hopefully we are in school, and we hope and pray we'll still continue educating the children. Yeah.
Thanks so much, Frank. There's one more person, I believe that is Sheila. Sheila, are you there?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was talking. It was muted. I apologize.
So just kind of introduce yourself, give us a little bit of your background.
Okay, so everybody, my name is Sheila Montague. I am a college professor here in the city of Newark, and I'm a community advocate. The reason why I call myself an advocate is because I'm really advocating for solutions, especially when it comes to the nucleus of our school system. And that has motivated me to initiate a campaign to run for mayor of our city, because I've seen that the mayor has chosen our school board and that he has chosen the people on our council. It seems fit that because we are not in approval of many of the decisions and we desire to be more included in those decisions, right, as taxpayers, that I decided to run, and just to challenge the status quo, to just try to change the lens on what has been happening, keeping us held back from progress, from true progress, at least over the last course of the last 40 years of my life. So thank you again, Yolanda, for inviting me and having me here. And I'm looking forward to the conversation.
Awesome, awesome. So I am just loving the robust, and you know something, we have community advocates, we have parents, we have teachers, right? That's saying something big. I don't know if that's speaking to you, but it's definitely speaking to me. Parents, advocates, community members, and teachers. Those are the three that really are interchangeable, that can really push forward the agenda that makes our kids successful. We are the pillars of each successful child. And so I just want to dig deep into what's happening now. Recently, we've been mandated to return back to in-person learning with this Delta virus. Our good friend right there, Tanisha, and her people over there in Harlem, New York City, kicked back and fought back because they wanted alternatives. So as we do here, we want alternatives, you know, and sometimes our parents here in Newark, New Jersey, they speak loud, but they speak loud, you know, with each other. And they really don't know that they have a lot of power in their voices if they were vocal about what they wanted. And so, and they don't know, you know, that they have rights and that they can push the needle forward until they get what they want. And so I want Tanisha to unpack the strategies that they used, or how did they get to the point of saying enough is enough, and we need to hit the streets, and we need to sound the alarm, and we need to make it loud and clear. So Tanisha, if you can just elaborate on that, that would be great.
Yeah, so I think it was just the lies. Here in New York City, we have 1.1 million school children. Way before COVID, we was fighting for lower class sizes. Way before COVID, we was fighting for better infrastructure. Way before COVID, we was fighting for public school dollars to go back into education. Way before from COVID, we was fighting for culturally responsive education. Way before COVID, we was fighting for cops out of schools, cops not counselors, not cops. Like, it was so many inequities in our public school system way before COVID came along. So when they basically told our kids that, you know, told parents, demanded that parents send their kids, I say, into a burning building. Because right now in New York City, it's like a super spreader. There's almost 2,000 children and teachers that have been diagnosed with COVID since they opened school September 13th. So as parents, we was just like, we're tired. And, you know, I keep explaining to our parents, I serve the parents that, you know, are voiceless, that people don't hear their voices, that go home and cry and try themselves to deal with their problems, not knowing that there's a parent upstairs or downstairs or around the corner that's having the same problems as you. The parents that go unheard. We are the majority. So and, you know, it's about building a space where parents feel safe to share their stories, and to understand that your story is really like somebody else's story, and to understand that, you know, these are public dollars, and these are public schools, and these are our our tax money, and that we, you know, we're going to stand together, and we were not going to send our kids to school. Since the 2 weeks our schools have been open, we have been hearing horrible stories more and more from parents that did send their kids to school. You know, a kid vaccinated, came home, killed both his parents. Within a month, you know, another young lady kept her kids safe for 2 years, for the whole pandemic, and then sent her kids back to school because she said, because they're mandating it. And, you know, her school age child got sick and got her 4-year-old child sick, but she didn't get COVID. But these are the type of things that they are putting on parents in New York, and we're just like tired of it. And then they tried to threaten us with ACS, Child Protective Services. You're not going to criminalize me for thinking about my child's welfare, for being the number one responsibility of a parent is to take care of your child and make sure your child is safe. Nobody is safe right now. And that breakthrough case, it can't be breakthrough if, you know, I know people that have breakthrough cases, and most people that I know people that have breakthrough cases. It's something wrong with the whole thing. And, you know, we're not sacrificing our children. So we just decided to, you know, do what we had to do. I lead by example. I don't ask my parents to do nothing that I'm not going to do. So my son has been home since September 13th, and I'm not sending him back to school, and I'm waiting for ACS to come knock on my door, sis.
Right. So
I dare
yeah.
them.
Yeah. So yeah. So I hear you. I hear you. I definitely heard you loud and clear. And what I did hear was, it's not that you guys are saying that we don't want our children to learn inside the facility. That's not what you're saying, if I'm correct. What you're
Right.
saying is, we have not seen the measures put in place. Like, we have ingress and egress processes. Those are not in place for us to trust you fully with our children, right?
No.
And
We have no
so,
trust. We
wow.
have
So,
no trust. Like, that's the first thing
mhm.
that we need to understand, that we cannot trust the system. If we could trust the system, there wouldn't be all these inequities, sis. We wouldn't be
Wow.
fighting for our children to get a culturally responsive education. We wouldn't be fighting for our children not to be whitewashed when they go to school. And the biggest narrative that they're pushing, that we really, as a people, I really want to lift this up. The biggest narrative that they are pushing, that we need to push back on, is that our children do better in person learning. That is a lie. A lot of children, including me, as a 45-year-old woman, was traumatized by the school experience that they had. That's one of the reasons why I do what I do, because I know what it is when you break a child. No matter
Right.
how far we come, we still have that broken child inside of us that we're trying to heal every day. And I refuse to sit here and watch them do to it to our children and then gaslight us, sis. So we got to stop, you know, my son did very well with remote learning. We are in the age of technology. That does not work for parents anymore. That does not work for children anymore. So the narrative that they are pushing, that, you know, our children need to be in school to, you know, learn social skills and all of this and all of that, that is not true. Or we wouldn't be fighting, as me and you, sis, on the front lines for as many years as we have been fighting, if public education was so great.
So yeah, so I'm gonna just play the clip. I screen record a little clip that that where you were speaking with the news, just so that Sheila, and I don't know what happened to Frank. I know that in Ghana the
It's
service
where
is
he's
really
at.
choppy. Yeah, so he'll probably join back in, but I would love to hear the measures that they have in place over there, because they're dealing with some current issues, and I really wanted him to speak about that. They're dealing with some corruption over there in Ghana, you know, that he can share, and it's civil unrest going on over there in Ghana that needs to be shared, and it needs to be out there, right? So I'm just gonna share this and just pray that he's able to join us so that he can give us some synopsis. Where is it? Oh God. I'm sorry, y'all.
Take your time. Ain't nothing to be sorry for. That's another thing we gotta stop doing, saying sorry when we shouldn't be saying it.
Absolutely. Right.
Think, and I just shared it and edited it. Okay, that might be him right there. Yep, he's back. Okay, hang on, guys. Okay. Okay, I said it. Nope, I can't pull it up, but I can definitely try and put it in the in the um in the chat box. I do apologize. I'm not used to working.
What clip?
It's the clip where you were on the news and you were talking about why you made the choice why you guys made the choice to take it to the streets and put the pressure on them to close the schools. Because in case you all don't know, there's a Harlem school that's shut down as a result of the parents getting out there and the community members getting out there and beating that pavement, boots on the ground, saying this is what's going to happen and we don't care about your threats. And you were just, letting them know why y'all made that decision to do that, despite DCS threatening you all with removing your children. So I don't know if Sheila or Denise, Frank, I do want to catch you before your service break up again to just chat a little bit about the civil unrest and things that's going on over there in Ghana. I do know that there is some corruption that you guys are uneasy about. And so if you can just collaborate on that, if you can just, elaborate on that, that would be really good. And just give us your, backdrop of how you feel about this COVID experience in teaching.
Okay. With the COVID experience currently, we had our first shipment came early this year, around January, February. We had a shipment. When it came, they started the vaccination. So they vaccinated some people. Not quite long ago, we had our second shipment, which from the COVID, the program where they will be supplying African countries with COVID vaccine. So we had the second shipment. So people went to vaccinate. To be frank, our population is around 30.8 million. And honestly, those who have taken even the first jab are less than 5 million population. So it's really a challenge here when it comes to the vaccine. And also, as you said earlier on, corruption too is a major issue we're always trying to fight. The government is doing its best, and Ghanaians too are doing their best. But I think it's a collective effort when it comes to corruption. It's a collective effort. We all have to strive to be upright. We can't leave that only for the government to fight corruption. It's a collective effort. So this is what I would like to talk of concerning the corruption issue and also the progress with the jab and the vaccine. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. I didn't know that you guys were short on vaccines. We still have people here who are just skeptical about getting the vaccine. And then we have a number of people like myself who's fully vaccinated. And then for you guys to be short, not having that many vaccinations. And I'm sure there's a significant number of people who's interested in getting vaccines. And they're coming out, the Pfizer, they're coming out with the booster is just crazy. When you don't have enough in a continent or a country, but you're coming out with a booster shot to like, that's questionable to me, right? So Thank you so much, Frank, for sharing that.
Thank you
I don't know if you guys have questions, Sheila, Denise, and Tanisha, if you're still on the line. Yeah, she's still here. If you guys have any questions, we still have a few more minutes to go.
Yeah, well, I do have a question. I've been heavily following what was going on with the immigrants from Haiti this week. Just trying to get, into America and at the borders and the oppression that they were met with, especially in the face of America allowing literally thousands of Afghanis to come into our country. So I don't know if you could just catch me up on what's going on specifically in Ghana. I would appreciate it because I'm just not sure of what particular situation you're referring to.
Okay, okay. Madam Shelley, with the 80 issue, we've been reading it in the news. And also, they are our brothers, to be frank. Our ancestors are in them, and they are part of us. And we feel very sad looking at those pictures.
Right.
People being whipped.
Yes.
Yeah, people being whipped. Yes, yes. It's a very, very sad issue. So to be frank, those who have been watching the video and reading from the papers, we really feel very sad, to be frank, very, very sad. I personally watched it on Facebook. The first time I watched, I was very shocked. How can you treat someone in this 21st century? I mean, that's what I'm saying. So it was very, very painful seeing my fellow Black being treated this way, all because he wants something better or he wants a better life. So to be frank, it's a very painful issue here. We are all sympathizing with the people of Haiti. Also, we're sympathizing with the coup and the earthquake. Always we are following, we're sympathizing with them. Our hearts are with them, honestly.
I think that we all share the same sentiments. I heard something that stood out to me that Tanisha mentioned was about education and how our children are being brainwashed. And I want to hone in on the curriculum that's being taught and why our history, because we're from the diaspora, and because we come from maybe different cultures, I'll say cultures, because we're all from different tribes. America is not all that great. It is not all that great. We suffer every single day. I feel like if we can all come together, those from Haiti, from Ghana, from Nigeria, all of the diaspora and all of our ancestry descendants come together and we create our own curriculum, teach each other, because what we see here on our television is totally different from what you guys see on your television. They have divided us Africans, long enough, that sometimes when the descendants come here to America, there is just a different behavior. And all we want is for us to love on us, right? We want us to love on us. And we didn't get what you might have, right? In Ghana, we don't have a history. We don't know what tribe we come from. We don't know who we are in America. And it would be nice, really nice, for us to get together on an international level to educate each other and get some of that tutelage, that knowledge and those gems and jewels that you guys have over there, and share with us the language, the different tribes, the different languages and stuff, so that we can teach our people here. But we have to come together. And so I don't know how you feel about that, but the curriculum that we have is doomed for our children. It's not a curriculum that they can use to prosper in life or use to live, a decent life. It sets our African American children up here to fail, and it's not fair, and we've been dealing with that for centuries since I was a little girl, hearing about it from my grandmother and she telling of what her mother told her, and so it's like, when do it stop? And it won't end if we're waiting for those people to do it. Then we won't ever get to see us survive in the capacity that we most definitely deserve to, or where we should be at. And so there's a saying, if we all just stand up, it'll be game over, and so I don't know what your thoughts are about that, but with the vaccination and it's just a lot of uncertainty, in the air, and people don't know, who to trust. And I mean, it's just so much going on. But I think that, what we can do right now, Denise sent some information about Freedom School, right? And I feel like Freedom Schools came from African descent. And if we're going to do Freedom Schools, it should be done the way we want it to be done. We're bright, people, we're rich people. And I feel like if Ghanaians understood the riches that they have there and send that information and communicate that information of the riches and the history and everything over here to us, and we share it as much as we can be a force, and we can start now. So I don't know what you guys feel about that, but that's where my thoughts are with everything that's going on, with the Haitians and, just school parents, people not speaking up and, not standing up. We are a force to reckon with. And the reason why they keep us separated and they show us different things on the television is so that we won't come together, because truthfully speaking, we outnumber them. And that's all I have to say right now.
So I just want to just ditto that comment, all of that Yolanda just said. I think that is an excellent invitation and something that we definitely need to move forward in doing, to just get more of an understanding of our sisters and brothers in Africa. And I just want to pinpoint something else that you said that I think is really crucial. You mentioned about the brainwashing and you explained it, and you're absolutely right, because so much in this country is not the physical abuse as much as it has been a war waged upon psychological abuse. So that's what we've been dealing with, environmental racism, oppression, things that stop us from getting houses, but they're not overt, they're covert, if that makes sense. And what Tanisha said that was different, she used the term whitewashed. That's different from brainwash. And I really want to thank her for that phrase. And I love it, because what I've been saying for years is that they're not teaching our kids in terms of policy, not implementing the Amistad Act that was passed in 2002. And so our kids are not learning about who they are. And it's hard for us to teach so much of it if we haven't studied it and we don't know. And what they give to us to study is a whitewashing. And I think that we would be better if we started to use that term here in the city of Newark, in terms of, because it's whitewashing. And like Yolanda just said, our kids are not being taught financial literacy. So when they come out into this capitalistic society, they don't know how to fend for themselves always financially. And then it becomes who you know, what you know. And we're seeing that that strategy of politics, right, that we tend to call nepotism. Our whole country is breaking down over it. Like right now with the last president of America, Donald Trump, he's doing a lot to overturn the last election, which historically hasn't happened. We've always had people to just concede and we move on with whoever. That's not going on right now. And I think someone said on here earlier, you have to look past the two people that you see, the Bidens and the Trumps. You have to look at people like the Koch brothers. You have to look at the people like Yolanda mentioned earlier, who put these curriculums in place so that our kids are not learning phonics, so that they're not learning things that they need to know to just be in this country, but they're learning things that are teaching them how to work at Amazon, how to be low wage earners, and how not to afford the very escalating expense of just a studio or a 1-bedroom apartment at like $1,500 to $800 a month. Who could afford that? And then the kids are not learning conflict resolution. They're allowed to have arguments and chaos with no type of direction being given on how to just get along with people. And all of that caters in, it factors in to the nonstop shootings that we're having that are so traumatizing to the families, to the community, to the kids. But no one's addressing it. So you have, politicians running around saying all is well, crime is down, when we see that that's not the case. And all is not well when our children, right? Because really at this point in at this stage of the game, it's not just about us anymore, if it even is. It's about our children and what they're gonna inherit from our efforts or lack thereof. So again, I just want to give a lot of praise, acknowledgments, and just kudos to Yolanda for, just putting this together. And I also just want to, commend Tanisha also for the work that she's doing in Harlem. And you guys just bringing this together and bringing us together like this is awesome. It's amazing. And we need to extend the outreach of it. Thank you.
Thank you, Sheila. Okay, go ahead, Denise.
Hi. I just want to say that listening to you guys and listening to you, and we live in Newark, New Jersey. We live in the state of New Jersey. And in order for us to be successful, we have so many things that they use and throw at us to deter us from what we really need to focus on. Like everything that you listed, everything that Frank listed, everything that Yolanda talked about have to be compacted. You were successful in shutting down a school. That should be contagious about trying to understand what the structural system is and how you all can put people in places that believe as we believe in getting our children the right curriculum, the right lessons in education, because education is the process that will free us. We know that. Like, if you don't know your history in America, what Ghanaians have to do, what anyone that comes from the continent of Africa has to do, when they come here and step in America, they need to learn the laws of America so they could properly assimilate. They need to learn the history of the Blacks who were here and fought for freedom in America. When they come over and they learn what Black African Americans in America went through, maybe we can join together and then we can build back the Black Wall Streets, the Black because economics rule in America. And right now, people, I hear us talking about all these issues, but right now in the economic structure of America that they're putting together in Washington, Black women are in the economic structure of bringing business and opportunity back. So therefore, we should be, Black men and women should be partnering together to get those dollars so that we can have the economic structure that we need. In Newark right now, nobody's talking about it. They're bringing the marijuana industry there. Who and how can we profit off it? Because they're going to make billions of dollars from it. How can we get on the boards? How can we get that money legally funneled to our school system so that we can appropriately educate our children or appropriately build schools that we run that we can educate? See, until we stop start looking at how we need to change it. Like we need to make the money to change our board. We have a board that look like us in Newark, New Jersey. You have people that look like you. When you have people that look like you and you're still not showing progress and you're still talking about a curriculum we need, we've always had homeschooling in Newark. So the fight for virtual is crazy to me when you could just keep your child home and use the homeschool curriculum. Like we fight, we reinvent the wheel, we recorrect the wheel, we make it like we're not focusing on what is already there. How can we use this to benefit us and to profit off of us? Because our board got taken away from us because outsiders came in and they financed people who look like us. And the people who look like us are being controlled by people who don't look like us, who are now, because they don't know their history, is repeating what our ancestors fought for. They're tearing down everything that our ancestors fought for and making our school system available to us. Now they're tearing it down. We have Africans that come over and support the charter school system and think the charter school system is better when it's oppressive, when it is taking out of the very system that we need to be making stronger, make it look like us in our cities, make it work for us in our cities, because the laws in our state say we can. But until we focus on that and we keep letting them throw these other little things up here that we gonna focus on, we always gonna be where we are. Because the saying goes is, the sign of insanity is to continue to keep repeating the same thing over and over again. And that's what we do as Black Americans in America. We keep repeating the same cycle over and over. So nobody really listens to us. And until we begin to say we're not doing that anymore, you're not doing that to us, and we do as our ancestors do, we're gonna be where we are. And especially when Africans come over here and think they're different from African Americans who were born and raised in America. That's a problem, and it exists. And until we start tackling those very issues that exist amongst us as people of color, we're always gonna be where we are, talking about the same old things, and our generations of children are going to get lost and have to repeat fighting for what we have, our ancestors fought for. We won, and now we giving away all over again.
Thank you so much, Denise. I love your energy. I love your passion. And so that's what this meeting is about. I believe that Tanisha talked about, it wasn't about remote learning. That's why I wanted to show the video, because it is very clear that it was not about the remote learning. It was clearly about, and it has always been about, with Tanisha. I've been working alongside Tanisha for quite a long time. And it has always been about, between the both of us, alternatives, parent choice, parents being able to have a voice in decisions that's being made. And that's why we brought this together. And not just here in America, but they're having some issues in Ghana too. And so that's why we're here. And so I'm glad Frank joined us tonight, because we're actually a group of people, and Denise, I invited you too, because we're actually a group of people that's solutions driven. And so with that being said, Denise, what are some ways that you
let me step in, Yolanda, real quick.
Before that, Tanisha, let me ask this question, and then you can say that, and then Denise can respond. Denise, what do you suggest we start at when we're talking about sharing the sentiments of how Ghanaians or African, the African continent, the people when they come over here, and how we're being treated when they come over here, and those issues, because I feel like I had talked about that when I said that they see something totally different than what we see on our television. And then, and that was purposely said because that's the reason why they come here to America and they have those opinions of us. It's because the television, the television, and what they're seeing is totally different than what we're seeing on our televisions. And so, you know, I just wanted to share that with you, Denise, that we're saying the same thing. We hear you, and you know, I love your passion and everything. It's just, you know, we just, you know, want some solutions, and it has to start somewhere. And if it has to be Saturday, September 25th at 7:45 p.m., then it's going to start, but it has to start somewhere. Thank you. Tanisha, you can go now.
Yeah, so J. Edgar Hoover said the biggest threat to America is a united Black people. I love my brothers and sisters in Africa, and it's not their fault and it's not our fault that white supremacy has severed us from each other. So I'm never going to talk about the way that you know, our brothers and sisters from Africa come here, because I know that it's a system. It is a system that has purposely kept us apart. And see, that's why we got to know our history. Because if we know who Marcus Garvey is, we know that Marcus Garvey had us connected international. I don't think it's fair to come down on our African brothers and sisters when they are being indoctrinated into the same system that we are, sister. That's my point number one. My point number two is I change the system every day. I have given 400 Black and brown children unapologetically the best technology possible. And I live in a 2-bedroom house. And now I am talking about going to Africa, to Frank, where Frank is in Ghana, and giving all 15 of his children that he teaches.
Thank you very much.
I'll go with you. I got my passport.
I got my passport.
I'll go with you. I got my passport.
No, let me finish, because I'm just getting started. This is something that white supremacy does, Denise. It have us fighting each other, and we not the problem. The problem is what they have done to us. I am a motherless child. I do not know what. I have never laid eyes on the mother, on a woman that birthed me, or the father that slept with her, or the grandmother. I have raised 3 Black proud children by myself, not knowing my roots, but I know my ancestors. I know my people. I know my history. And the last thing I'm ever going to do is come down on Black people that have been pitted against each other the same way that we have been pitted against each other in New York, in the States. Now, as for culturally responsive education, sister, we won $500 million here in New York to create a whole new curriculum. So please don't tell me what we can't do with the system. We have the power to change all of this.
I think you
We just don't. I'm
never
not finished,
said
sis.
that
I
you
listened to
couldn't
you.
fight.
I listened to you.
I didn't say you couldn't fight though. So don't put that.
Wait,
out there.
Denise, hold
Whoa,
on. Hold on. Let her finish. Denise, let her finish.
Whoa.
Denise, let her finish. Let her finish, Denise.
What I'm saying, I am not looking to anyone to tell me the power that I possess as Tanisha Grant. The power that I possess comes from the people, and I have moved mountains. So I know there is nothing that Black people can't do. We understand that this is an oppressive situation. We understand that we were the first capital in America. We understand that they severed our ties from Africa to have us build this country. And what we don't understand is how powerful we are, and we need to educate ourselves in why that is. They have been pitting us against each other ever since they had our ancestors fight to the death for a good meal, for some alcohol. So I just really think that we have to give each other grace and understanding. Sis, I just came from giving 25 Black children $1,100 computers and printers. And some of them children were from Africa. And just like the children over here that are Black, them children over there, they are all my babies. And I fight for all of them. So I understand that the oppression that we feel over here is universal. And we all might go through it in different ways, but we all come from the same thing. And us getting down on each other and saying what we can't do, like, I'm just, that's never helped me. Because if that was the case, I'm not supposed to be here. I'm supposed to be dead or in prison, because that's what the system raised me to be. And when I tell you, I was everything they wanted me to be, from the biggest drug dealer to being a whole prostitute with a stable. And I'm sitting here now, sis, with the power that my community have gave me to move mountains. We're going to not only going to get remote learning, we're going to change this whole system, because our ancestors built this joint. And there's no way that I'm walking away from it or blaming anyone else, when I know the people that I need to be looking at is the same people that have the same people of the same ancestors that have oppressed us since this country was born. And that's all I wanted to say.
Thank you, Tanisha Denise.
So Tanisha, I agree with everything you said. And I don't know if you misunderstood me, but honey, I'm a fighter too. I've been fighting since I was old enough to fight. And I fight for the citizens of New Jersey and anywhere I go. I fight for understanding. I work with all cultures. It doesn't matter where you come from. I work with all cultures. I have brought classrooms to education. I go to Trenton and I testify. I go nationally and testify. I work real hard for our community. So I understand what you're saying, but never say that, or if you misinterpret something I say, ask me. But don't make the statement where wanted interjected is where you made the statement that I wanted to pit us or about Africa. No, I bring people together. I have a whole African community that I work with. Like I don't just work with Black Americans or just people, a certain class of people or a certain culture of people.
Land the plane, Janine. Denise,
I'm
sorry, land the plane.
That's okay. I work with a community and I work with people, and I'm always going to do that.
I don't want to keep Frank too long.
Yeah, I understand, realize, but that's not what you said, sis. What you were saying was African people. So that's all I was saying.
I said when the people from Africa come, they should learn the laws.
And so should Black people. Black people should learn about African people. But you kept just going to the African people.
But you're not understanding what I'm talking about.
All right, let's just agree to disagree.
I'm talking about learning the laws.
Hello, can you all hear me? Can you all hear me? Shake your head, yes. Okay, so for time's sake, it is he's in Ghana, and that's about 4 hours ahead of us. So it's probably going on 1 o'clock in the morning. And I don't want to keep Frank long, but I do want to make a connection with him. Oh yes, Tanisha, of course. I just want to get Frank off the line so that he can possibly get some sleep, because I do realize that, he is, at a 4-hour time difference, and I don't want to keep him up no longer than he have to, but I do want to make a connection. And I heard something earlier. I have my passport. I'm not sure if Denise has her passport. Tanisha, you have your passport. Sheila, you have your passport. Listen, I'm ready to make that step. I have a friend who's in Ghana.
I said the Lord of America.
And so, listen, if you want to, whatever it is, we have about 6 more minutes. You can use that time up, Frank, because I know you got to go and it's late.
Okay. I want to give a closing comment before I leave you. We're talking of the culture and the history, and our advice on my Facebook page, I project our culture and history. So I advise if we can all form an alliance, you can go to my Facebook page. I've been posting about our history and our culture. From there, we can also learn. And also, I also suggest I can teach you the local language if you will permit me.
Okay, can you put your information in the chat?
I was saying that I can teach you the local language if you will permit me. So we can have a Zoom meeting like this and I will teach you.
Okay, so yeah, so put your information in the chat and maybe we can discuss further when you know it's not this late. Because I do realize that, you know, you guys is probably going on 1 o'clock in the morning for you. I'm a late sleeper, so I know about 3 o'clock in the morning, maybe some 4 o'clock in the morning, you'll probably be in the early mornings, so you'll probably have time to chat. Or send your email, we can email back and forth. But that's definitely something that I'm very interested in getting in. We can do those lessons on Saturdays, Sundays, we can do it through Zoom. People can join in, register, yeah, and you can, you know, teach the basic languages. That's something that I'm interested in. Anybody else want to give some closing remarks? Thank you so much, Frank, for joining us.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. I really appreciate the opportunity.
I would like to say thank you, Frank. Thank you, Frank, and to the other speakers that are on, Denisha and Sheila. I think you guys gave some great input, and I agree with you. It is healthy to debate, and we can agree to disagree and not be disagreeable, and we can learn from other people's other people's perception of things. So I thank you guys for inviting. I thank you, Yolanda, for inviting me, and I thank everybody for being on and giving your perspective.
Thank you so much, Denise, for coming.
Thank you for having us, Yolanda. Appreciate it.
Of course. I always follow you. It's always
good to, like, you know, like we ain't always going to get along, and anybody who tells you that we are, no, that's not the point. The point is Black liberation.
Let me tell you something about us Black folks. We Kin folks. I'm gonna say that. Let me tell you something about us Kin folks. We be going at each other's throats, but what who can't go at our throats is the people that don't look like us. Understand? We Kin folks. We love each other so much that we have disagreements, right? We have disagreements, and sometimes family, they go without speaking for maybe 1 or 2 days, but I can tell you this much about Kin folks, us Kin folks. We can do that, but can't nobody else outside of us Kin folks do that to us. So I don't know, Sheila, if you have some closing remarks. You have about a minute.
No, thank you. I just wanted to just say that, you know, everybody was great. I love the contributions, great energy, great passion, and we just need more of this. That's all. And thank you.
Oh, absolutely. I'm glad that you all enjoyed it. I don't have my laptop. My laptop is broke because I probably would have been able to email it out. Other people would have been, and I'm so glad that it probably happened this way. Is by design. You never know. But this is the first of many conversations. And all of you that know me know that I am adamant. I love seeing something through. And this is something, you know, they're talking about freedom schools and everything. This is something that we can start like right now, helping our people understand the history. We can, you know, get that started. I've never been the one to talk about what they're not doing. If there is some space or there is any kind of leeway for me to get in and say, look, I can make some changes, I'm definitely going to get in. I, like Tanisha, I am very unapologetically, I'm not apologizing for looking out for my people, for wanting to see my people succeed, and for loving my people. I'm very unapologetically, I'm not apologizing for that. And I'm going to do the best that I can do to make sure that my people get the what I know that they deserve. So we're definitely going to do this again. We can do it next Saturday. We can have you on, Frank, give us some basic lessons, speak about, you know, what we should be learning, how the language that they use, the different tribes. You know, because I do know that there are different tribes there in the continent of Africa. I know that Ghanaian people are not the same as Nigerian and Liberia. You know, just give us that history so that we can know. And we're going to invite some more people on. I don't have my laptop, but I'm going to make sure that I get something by next week. I'll have something by next week so that we can get some more people. Maybe they want to join in from Facebook. Tried to link it in. I can't, I hate that I'm limited right now because I'm using my phone, but we're definitely gonna have this conversation more often. And just, you know, when you come back, just or, you know, invite more people to come on. Tanisha, thank you so much for sending the link so that Frank can join in. Frank, bring some more people so that we can get to know our people. And I'm serious about traveling to Ghana. I have my passport. Sure. You say the word, I'm welcome.
Akwaba.
All right. So thank you so much. I mean, even down to handshakes, because those are different, right? I was just sharing with Sheila earlier, you know, that when greeting Ghanaians, it's always the fist and then over the heart because of COVID that changed to that, right? When you're greeting one another. So it's the fist like this and then over. Okay, so I got it. All right, so thanks so much, Frank.
It's true.
Thanks so much, Denise. Thanks, Sheila. Tanisha, oh my God, girl, you keep rocking over here, girl. Is there something that you want to say, Tanisha?
Nah, like just keep building, keep having these tough conversations, keep holding each other accountable. We can't talk about holding the system accountable if we don't hold each other accountable.
That's right.
I think you know, the hardest thing that we need to do is learn how to build with each other and, you know, not take things personally. And, you know, this was a great example of that. So
yes,
hoping to see y'all soon. Y'all know I'll be out here in these streets.
Next
and
Saturday.
I depend on y'all to be out here in these streets over there.
Yes, next Saturday. Okay, so thank you guys for tuning in. Thanks so much.
To everyone.
Love you all. Love you all.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Denise. Thanks, Tanisha. Thanks, Frank. Thanks, Sheila. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.